Chers auditeurs,
Dear listeners,
bonjour.
welcome to Comme d'Archi Podcast Season 5.
Saison 5, dans le monde fascinant des architectes.
And in the architectural projects.
Je suis Anne-Charlotte Deponte, passionnée d'architecture et docteur des universités en histoire de l'archi.
I am one of the spokespersons of Anne-Charlotte, who is a PhD in architecture history.
Merci.
Thank you
D'être avec moi aujourd'hui.
to be with us today.
Et
And
maintenant,
now,
lundi en français, place au talent.
and Wednesday, let's talk projects. In English, of course.
Bienvenue dans Comme d'Archi.
Dear listeners, this is Esther on behalf of Anne-Charlotte. Let's get together today with a text Anne-Charlotte wrote based on her interview in French with the Parisian agency Hame. At Hame, architects, there are around 20 of them, including the three partners, Nicolas Béret, Jean-Rémy Dost, and Paul Jacquet, and teams combining three skills, architects, urban planners, and heritage architects. The agency is located in the 10th arrondissement. The atmosphere is warm and welcoming. Each person is considered a living force. The most important thing is to keep thinking. Ideas flow like a game of ping pong. Teams are expected to dialogue. The associates want to avoid the polarization they suffered in the big agencies where they started out. Each partner has his own playground. Nicolas Béret teaches 20th century heritage at the Nancy School of Architecture. Jean-Rémy Dost co-founded a LARM club with artists to act emotionally, to open up debates, for example, on the theme of housing to be approached differently, with a different relationship to finance, and to gain in space and quality. Paul Jacquet is involved in a master's program at the École d'Architecture de la Villette on the theme of rural resources. The question of time is of great interest to them. They want to take more time in their projects to explore materials, design, and exchange. Society moves fast, but in architecture, quality needs time. Time has to be reclaimed. At the agency, projects on a wide range of scales are chosen with care, according to the interest they arouse. Sometimes it's the conversion of monuments and/or a question of use, a public space, or even a territory. Reversibility, a way of building, a relationship with the existing. There's no dogma. Everything is a complex question. The right position has to be found each time. Allow Anne-Charlotte a first focus on a project. The Plan de sauvegarde et de la mise en valeur in Lille, an urban planning and heritage project, as well as a long-term regulatory project covering the city's historic center, i.e., 180 hectares. It aims to enhance the city's built and plant heritage and to bring it up to standard with ambitions such as the requalification of inner city blocks and the fight against vacancy. This is one of the first low-carbon PSMVs in France. PSMVs are safeguarded sectors created under the 1962 Malraux law. PSMVs aim to prevent the disappearance of historic heritage or its irreversible deterioration. In Bordeaux, the aim is to improve living conditions in the old city center with a focus on first floors and climate change. The question of heritage management over time is addressed through a project such as a fortress in the Aude region. But let Anne-Charlotte take a new, closer look. In Manaus, Brazil, Hame's associates describe their story there, which they describe as extraordinary. So, to hell with highlighting all projects equally. In fact, Anne-Charlotte shuns the basic leveling, the dumbing down, which she considers to be really and all too often primitive, and which robs people of inspiration. So, it's not their barely revealed side steps that interest us in their adventure there, but rather this fine example of connection to the environment and territorial complexity that this subject represents. Isn't it exceptional? I'll have you know that a development bank called them to contribute their thoughts to a regional project. They believe they were asked to contribute to this project because of their dual expertise in heritage and urban planning. A director of urban planning and a former member of Rem Koolhaas's agency had launched feasibility studies on buildings in the area. But they lacked a more comprehensive urban heritage strategy. So, with Hame, they worked with a Brazilian lawyer to reconnect the city to the land, in resilience. The heart of the city deserved to welcome in safety and for longer. To regain a beautiful energy, the city-forest interface in this Amazonian site could become exemplary in the face of climate challenges. More generally, as you can see, Hame's fundamental and trans-scalary research focuses on the future of our cities. What should we keep? What should we transform or renovate? Should we retreat as an opportunity to regain open land? Or should we densify? Thank you to the Hame Associates for their testimony and the intelligence that infuses their projects. Dear listeners, thank you for your faithful and numerous listenings, which have enabled us to become the leading French podcast on the subject of architecture. See you next week for a new issue. If all goes according to plan, a long format made in the USA, a great subject for English speakers. And until then, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening. And thanks to the sound engineer who was collaborating with us today. Don't forget to tune in to our previews on Instagram at Comme d'Archi Podcast. If you enjoy this podcast, don't hesitate to promote it by giving it 5 stars and a little comment on Apple Podcast or on your favorite podcast platform. And above all, subscribe to listen to all of our episodes for free. See you soon, and until then, take care of yourself.